The wind that whispers. Jungwoo sat on the park bench, watching the autumn leaves drift gently to the ground. The crisp air filled his lungs, and he exhaled slowly, as if trying to let go of something invisible yet heavy. It had been 3 months since his diagnosis. Lung cancer. Stage 3. He had never smoked a single cigarette in his life. He had lived carefully, eaten well, exercised regularly. And yet, here he was. The news had hit him like a rogue wave, pulling him under a tide of disbelief and fear. At first, he had asked, "Why me?" But as the days passed, his mind turned towards another question. How did this happen? The doctors spoke of environmental factors, genetic predisposition, and immune responses, but none of it felt like the whole story. An old saying his grandmother used to repeat came back to him: a man's breath follows his heart, and his heart follows his burdens. Jungwoo had spent the past 20 years climbing the corporate ladder, sacrificing friendships, health, and peace of mind for a career that had given him wealth but not fulfillment. He had always thought he could rest after he achieved everything. But now, he wondered if he had ever truly breathed freely. The weight of a past unresolved. One evening, Jungwoo found himself in front of his childhood home. His mother still lived there, a small woman with silver streaks in her hair but the same fierce energy that had once shaped his world. "Jungwoo, what are you doing here at this hour?" she asked, surprised but pleased. He hesitated. He had not come with a plan, only a feeling, an urge to reconnect with something he had lost. "I just wanted to see you, Mom." They sat together in the small, dimly lit living room, and for the first time in years, he let her words flow into him without resistance. She spoke of his father, of his childhood, of the times she had worried for him but never said anything. "You were always so stubborn," she said with a chuckle. "Once you set your mind on something, you wouldn't let go, even when it hurt you." Jungwoo felt an ache in his chest, a different kind of pain from what the doctors had warned him about. Attachment. Stubbornness. He had clung to his ambitions, his grudges, his need to prove himself, even when they drained him. As the night stretched on, something inside him loosened. The whisper of the wind. A week later, Jungwoo stood at the edge of the sea, feeling the salty wind rush past him. He had always loved the ocean but had never taken the time to visit. Now, standing there, he thought about all the things he had postponed for later. What if later never came? A man nearby was flying a kite. It soared high, dancing against the sky, yet it was held by a single string. Jungwoo wondered what it would feel like to let it go. To release something that had been tethered for so long. He closed his eyes. For the first time in his life, he breathed, not out of necessity, but with intention. Deeply. Fully. Letting the wind carry away the burdens he had held for years. He thought of his father, whom he had never forgiven for leaving. He thought of the friends he had lost touch with, the apologies he had never spoken. And then, he let go. Not of life. Not of hope. But of everything that had weighed him down. The wind whispered around him, carrying his breath into the vast, open sky. For the first time in a long time, he felt light. A new beginning. Jungwoo did not know how much time he had left, but he knew he wanted to live differently. He began reaching out, calling old friends, making amends where he could, and allowing himself moments of stillness. His body was fighting a battle, but his soul was healing. His doctors were surprised by his resilience, but Jungwoo was not. He had finally learned what it meant to truly live. Not by holding on, but by letting go. And so, as the autumn leaves continued to fall, Jungwoo walked forward, not as a man running from death, but as someone embracing life, one breath at a time.